Good morning, everybody. Welcome to In Tune with Joon. I'm your host, Joon. Today, we have a very special guest. You've seen him once before, but he's making his official one-on-one debut today. Welcome, Kian. How are you doing? We love to hear that you're being productive, that you're staying healthy. We encourage everyone to stay healthy and be productive. So, very happy to hear that. Yeah, absolutely. So, today, what are we going to be talking about? Today, we're going to be talking about changing your career path. Now, this is something that I'm currently undergoing, and this is something that Keon has gone through. And as such, he's more than qualified to talk about this topic. So, I think it's great. Usually, I start out and I start saying, "Oh, this is how I've been doing." We can't hear Keon. No good. Okay. Thank you, Toluca boy. I appreciate that.
You
All
can't
right,
hear me?
so now they can. I had desktop audio muted because I'm
Okay.
an amateur. But we'll start that again. We have Keon here. Keon, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi guys, I'm Kian Kazemi. I am 24 years old. I live in Los Angeles, California. Right now, I do live with the folks. I am a freelancer in the film world, and
Boom.
I'm Kia. I'm Kia's friend since I was in first grade.
First
Homies
grade.
since day one. Homies day since day one.
Absolutely. So, like I said, we're going to be talking about changing career paths. And I said normally I start out, but I'd like to give the floor to Keon. Tell us, what did you want to do, and what are you doing now?
Well, Kia, like every other person, I feel like I was a little confused on what I wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
I was sort of pushed by my parents to go pursue business because when I was in high school, I was really focused on sports,
Yes.
and I didn't really and by focusing on sports a lot and being in the IB program, I sort of slacked off at work, school, and I couldn't get into the college I wanted to get into.
Okay.
So I went to community college and I was going for business. But at the time, I wasn't sure if I wanted to do it, and I was slacking off while doing it. And I was never a school person, so I, put myself into like this business world, thinking that like, oh, this is the right way to make money and like be happy and be successful. And then after my 2.5 years of community college, I basically changed careers because I wasn't happy. I actually sort of was in a very depressive state because I had a fear of like a FOMO experience. Most of my friends were four-year colleges, doing what they wanted, thinking I knew that they know what they wanted to do in their lives. Going to Michigan, going to Butler, going to USC, Stanford. Like I have
Mm-hmm.
friends going to schools thinking I already like they know what they want to do with those degrees. So I sort of put myself in a slump, and I got out of it. And I was like, I love film. I've always loved film, and I know I can get into the business because I have some connections. So I went into the film school, and I pursued films ever since. I actually did not finish school because I was so into the film world that my advisors recommended me just to get my associates and get out of there because I'm already foot in the door, working a lot, and yeah. So right now I'm a freelancer in the film world.
Well, Keon, congratulations for successfully changing your career.
Thank you.
And we'll get into more of the details of it later, but I'm glad you gave us a broad overview. That's always important.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm sorry if I talk a little too much. If you can stop me.
Not at all. I love to hear you, and I'm sure the audience loves to hear you as well. So, what is going on with me? So, for basically my entire life, I've been sort of geared towards going towards a science path, a medical path, and
Mhm.
specifically dentistry. And in high school, I had the grades, I had the motivation, I had the extracurriculars, and I didn't get into my top choice colleges. I got waitlisted for them, but I got into a school that I'm very happy to get into. It was UCI. Keon, you look confused. The schools I'm talking about are UCLA and UC Berkeley.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you. I wanted to know what schools were your top choices. I
Yeah.
forgot which ones were your tops.
Ideally, I wanted to go to either UCLA or UC Berkeley, but it's
Okay.
okay. I'm
Oh, man,
actually
you're an anteater, baby, anteater.
I'm very happy I went to UCI because it exposed me to a lot of the gaming scene that I'm so familiar with today. And anyway, yeah. So I'm not one of those people that's like everything happens for a reason, but I do believe in making the best of what you do have, the situation that you're in.
Yeah.
So in college, my first 2 years transitioning from the school system that I had known, which was more about like analysis, more about short written response to like learn yourself and multiple choice, that was a rough transition. So I didn't perform very well until my third year. And that was very detrimental towards my, obviously, dental school application because if, for those of you who don't know, in the US, you need to attend your 4 years of undergraduate and then apply to dental school. And for the most part, you have people who get masters and PhDs before applying to dental school as well. So it's a bit of a mixed bag there. And when it came down to it, my test scores were stellar. They were like 90 plus percentile. My extracurriculars were stellar, but my GPA was not on par with that. So it looks like okay. Your video was frozen, but now it's back up. Okay. Anyway, so
Connection is a
it's
little
fine.
off, but don't worry.
It's okay. So I applied, and I didn't even get into my safety schools, and I noticed halfway through the application cycle that this was going on. This was recently. This was in December of 2019. Okay. So when I realized this, I realized, okay, I need to act now if I don't want to waste any time. So beginning December 2019, actually, I don't want to get into details. Let's give the big picture. Big picture, I needed to figure out something new to do. I looked towards biotech since it was sort of related, and I'm interested in tech, and I'm good at bio. But I thought, am I really going to be happy doing this? And the answer was probably not. So then I looked really inwards and said, okay, well, what do I enjoy doing in my free time? What job would I do that wouldn't feel like work? And that would be something along the lines of voice acting, something along the lines of a creative industry, whether I'm streaming, whether I'm playing video games, whether I'm voice acting, something like that. That does not feel like work to me. When I'm streaming right now, I'm having a conversation with you. Does this feel like work to me? No, no, it doesn't. It feels like we're having a conversation between two old friends. So that's the big picture for me. I might have rushed near the end there, but hopefully you got an idea. I think a great area to start at to really get in and dig deep is like, how do you overcome the fear of changing what you have been planning to do for so many years? How do you get over that hill? And maybe you can talk about, maybe for you that hill was the slump. Maybe it was making the decision to begin with. What was the big hill that you had to climb, and how did you overcome it?
I I would say the hill would just growing up. I had a very, I mean, like I'm still a child, but I just feel like responsibilities and putting yourself and giving yourself a plan and more like a structure instead of just living day by day. I mean, like I still live day by day. Like I'm trying to be happy, like fill my days with like things I don't like, my empty time with things I want to do and like progress in. But I just didn't have a good work ethic, and I didn't have a realistic view on the world because I mean, like I lived under a very great roof, family well off. I'm not like scrumming for money. I'm not working
Mm-hmm.
to make money in order to support the family. So I didn't really have a job until like I was a real job until I was like 20, 21 years old.
Mm-hmm.
So I just had to put a little structure in my life and find something that I'm happy with and not something that people are telling me to do. Because I was always a follower and I've never really put myself in like a leader. Like I talk a lot and I love expressing myself, but I have a lot of insecurities about who I am as a person and my intellectual side of things. Because I mean, like at the end of the day, I know that not everyone, like no one knows anything, but you can read up to a point where you know a lot about a subject. And me as a person, I'm always self-doubting my knowledge and who I am as a person because of, I never really stood up for myself when I was younger. So I think that took a toll on me, and I didn't really have a direction until I hit a like I was crying. The people I was surrounding myself with, I didn't really support and really like see as friends. So I had to really restructure who I was and what I wanted to do, and things that made me happy, and be a little selfish. You know, I had to be
Yeah.
selfish all the time because you got to love yourself first. I learned in the
Yeah.
long haul, because if you don't love yourself, you're not gonna like appreciate the things around you and things you want to do. So I just slowly started developing like a rhythm, a structure of life, and what to do to wake up, to like sort of have a productive day in front of me. And then it all ended up with film. Like I knew, like at the end of the day, like I want to work in this industry. I can wake up no matter what.
Hold on, hold on. Your audio is cutting in and out. If you can hear me, your audio is cutting in and out. Do you hear me? Ooh, technical difficulties. Do you hear me? Okay, he can't hear me. Okay, hold on. Let me try to get his attention. Maybe I'll text him. Boom. Can you hear me? Testing. Looks like Kian's okay. I'll tell him what to do. Let me turn off my camera here. Maybe that might help. Hold on, maybe on FaceTime. All right, can you hear me over here? Yeah. Okay, so what I recommend is turn your camera off and on Discord. Maybe that might work. Sorry about this, guys. It's loading. Oh, I got a glimpse of you, but I don't hear you. How about we end the call and then I call you again? Oh, actually, okay, we're good. All right, mute on FaceTime and then we'll resume.
Okay,
Sorry about that.
Yeah, sorry guys.
Okay, so you were saying, go ahead.
No, I was saying, I don't even know where I left off, because I actually.
Okay, the last thing that you said, well, let's just take off from being selfish, doing you.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I really focused on other people's opinions about me, opinions about lifestyle, who you are. You know, just like everyone else, like you're trying to fit in with a group, you're trying to fit in with a crowd, and that was my thing. Like I always had friends, like I've always had friends here and there, but I'd always be moving around and have different friends, so it's really hard for me like to connect with people all the time that I relate to, because so it was just always like trying to fit in with a group, trying to fit in with a different group. And especially coming from Lila to a private school, which is so small, to a public school, which has 5 times the amount of kids at the school. Sure. I was so overwhelmed, and I was like trying to people please all the fucking time. So it was just like at the end of the day, like after God knows how 6-7 years of people pleasing, I got fed up with it, and I tried to be more selfish with my time. And it really, like, you know, throughout, like I was in a 7.5-year relationship a year ago. Okay. I stopped it because of the fact that I felt like my time was being wasted. And it sounds selfish, but like I'm 24 years old and I need to be thinking about me and my future. I don't think a relationship for me at the time was the most important thing, and it's sort of blinded my view on a lot of things. And ever since then, I've been progressing. I've been working a lot more. I've been hanging out with different people who have been making me feel better, and making me feel better that I can progress in this world and doing things and side hustles. You know, I'm not sticking into a certain, like, I don't know. I'm just being really choosing who I want to be with, choosing who I want to talk with, choosing like I'm just being very selfish. And I think that's the fear, like being selfish. I mean, people take it a little too far sometimes and are very narcissistic, and I mean like stubborn. But I mean, at the end of the day, like if you can find a good balance, a silver lining between a narcissism and I mean, I don't know, is narcissism and selfishness the same thing, or is like narcissism a more extreme?
I'd say, I mean, narcissism is further along that scale. Yeah.
So I'm gonna say selfish, but because selfish also has like a negative connotation to it, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So I feel like something is just. I mean, you gotta think for yourself. I feel like at the end of the day, it's like you're gonna be you're with yourself more than you are with other people. You're
Yeah.
gonna die by your like. I mean, there's gonna be people around you, but no one's gonna be sharing that experience. Like no one is sharing the
Yes.
experiences you're going through. So yeah.
I think you touched on a really important point there, and I was going to make such a similar point. You touch on actually multiple things. The first thing I'll start with is like what others think of you. Okay, let's get this out of the way. Are others doing your job? Are others living your life? No, no, they're not.
See,
Yeah. So you need to decide, okay, within reason, right? You evaluate your circumstances. Kian said he's fortunate. He has a family who's supporting him. I say I'm fortunate. I have a family who's supporting me, right? Within reason, you need to decide for yourself, okay, what can I do with my time that I will be happy with? And what can I do with my time that is going to be fulfilling and productive and hopefully profitable? So, um, if you can get all of those ingredients together, I think that's the secret sauce to finding what you want to do. And as for how to do it, we hopefully will touch on that in a second. But you need to get over these two hills first, right? And so that you have the public perception, and then the maybe that idea of okay, is it okay to be selfish? You know, society has taught me that being selfish is bad. Society has taught me that we should be in a community. Well, I don't want to get too deep here, but going from work to home to bar, like that's a very isolated life, and that's what society tells us is ideal. And that doesn't sound very communal to me. So I would say let's put aside what you have been taught that seems to interfere with what you like. Let's take a long, hard look at what you like first. I want to put it in isolation. Okay, now that you've looked at it, you've had time with it, are you really going to be willing to grind for this? This is one of my biggest points. I think finding something that you like and that you can do for the rest of your life is not about liking the highs. It's about tolerating the lows. Are you able? Yeah. Are you able to tolerate, let's say if you want to be an actor, right? Are you able to tolerate rejection, 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 all over and over and over again? Are you able to go to 100 auditions with hearing back from nobody? Are you able to practice by yourself, stare at yourself in the mirror, what can I improve on every single day? Are you able to do all that? And that's the bottom line. If you're able to go through the lows, you're able to do something for a long time. And maybe one day you'll get tired of the lows. That'll, fine, deal with that at that point. But when you are thinking about doing something for the long term, you have to not only look at the things you like about it, you have to take a long, hard look at the things you hate about it. And can you tolerate it? Can you grind through it?
Yeah.
Have you come to a similar realization?
Oh, my man. I mean, it is. I don't. The industry I'm in, I take like, I love to be around people and talk to people. That's my thing. So I found that niche for me. So the only concern was my like hours, because set days can go from 12 to like 18, 19 hours, and I've had those 18, 19 hour days, and sometimes it can go from 4 p.m. to 8 a.m. in the morning.
Wow.
And I realized that I don't care, because I am working with people, and it's like more of and you understand that it's a team effort. Everyone has a specific reason why they're there, and they're all focused on that thing. So it's not like, well, I'm putting my mind to this project 100% like all the time. No, you have to divide your time properly in order to like be happy. But the things that this industry is all about trusting other people. Like, you have to trust other people. So if you don't have if you don't trust people, it's hard to do what you need to do, because you're gonna get annoyed with people. You're gonna probably yell at someone if they're doing something that you don't think is right.
Right.
It's just a very, like, it's a moving organism, the whole thing, like little parts of it, everything. Like my position, which is like the lowest position, is so important because I have to help and provide people if they need snacks, food, if they need like shade, if they need like anything. I have to be there in order to do that. But the things that I understand, that my position helps other people do what they need to do in order to make a beautiful thing for people. Like, I love what I do because I feel like at the end of the day, it's giving someone a message.
Yeah.
It's giving someone a message, and that makes me happy. So I found something that made me happy at the end of the day, and I would do anything for it. Like, you see me, I wake up and I post my videos sitting in the fucking car at 3 and 4 in the morning.
No, you don't look miserable. You look happy.
Yeah. I just, and like going back to like our last discussion when we were talking about like how like there's the Mark Zuckerbergs and all these people in the world that people want to follow them. They found what they loved and they're good at it. Like, it's not like yes, they are smart and geniuses in what they're in their field, but man, like, maybe they're stupid in other things, and the reason why they're not focused on other things is because they're so good at that, and that's what makes them happy. They're not going to go off and do other things to make them look stupid. Sure. Obviously not. So I just feel like people have to focus, and going back to focus on themselves and find what makes them happy. Instead of
you've already inspired me to have a follow-up episode with you. It's about success. Right.
Oh,
so let's not touch on success yet, because you were like teasing. You're getting a little bit into it, but that could be its own episode altogether. Yeah.
Success is such a broad word, bro.
Right. Exactly. Like, see, you already got the opener. You're already working towards that. That's so funny,
dude. When people say success, like, I'm like, bro, okay, you were saying the word success, but that means something completely different to me than to you. Like, like, oh, this is so dope. Like, I feel so successful. So, oh, do you really feel successful? Because right now I feel a little like, I don't know, but I might have achieved something, but I don't feel successful right now.
Exactly. So what I liked about what Kian was talking about earlier is he said, the negatives, the hours. Okay, Kian is single, he's young, and he has energy. I think that's the perfect recipe to work long hours, isn't it? Because if you have a family, if you have a relationship, if you have, let's say, a second job, for example, right? Let's say you need a second job to live. You can't work those long hours. And that might be a deal breaker for you. You say, I can't handle the grind. And that's fine, right?
That's fine, yeah.
That's a part of the journey of seeing whether you can do something or not. And I think we didn't touch on this. It's important to be honest with yourself. I think... you can lie to yourself and say, I can tolerate the lows, and you end up, let's take that acting example again. Instead of practicing your acting, you're playing video games all day. When you're playing video games all day, what are you doing exactly? Are you enhancing your acting? No. You're distracting yourself from the grind. Okay. So is that being productive? No. So if you're lying to yourself, you're not only going to disappoint others, you're going to disappoint yourself. That's the worst part. If you're cheating on yourself. That's why when people, like, let's say, break a diet or don't work out, other people don't care, okay? You gain a little weight at the Thanksgiving dinner and you think your family's judging you? No, they're just, they're living their own lives. They have their own problems to worry about. You're stuck with yourself at the end of the day. That's what Kian said earlier. And that's so true.
Oui! Maman, je suis en train de parler avec Kian sur un podcast. Chalo est avec moi, il couche avec moi. Il dort avec moi.
All right, we're gonna have a quick intermission. We need the Kian's dog to go downstairs. Very funny.
I'm sorry.
No, it's funny. It was very funny. So yeah, the last thing I was saying was being honest with yourself is the most important thing, because at the end of the day, other people can judge, but if you're stuck with yourself and you're unhappy, that's the worst feeling.
I mean, I completely agree with you, Kia. I mean, I live by this. I've been living by this motto for a good year or 2 years now. It's like, love yourself first every day. Life, LYFE. Love yourself first every day. Like you said, like,
if you're
not honest with yourself, you're not going to be honest with the people around you. Like, it's all about, I think, like, laws of attraction is I mean, another topic we can definitely talk about another time. But like, I really believe laws of attraction is a thing. Like, whatever you put in and it'll come and put out to the world, it come back. It'll
Of
come back to
course.
you. If you're
Of course.
negative to
Oh,
yourself and
okay.
you're
Okay.
negative to the things around you, obviously negativity is gonna be around you. That's when
But
people are
that's
like,
oh, okay, but that's true.
oh,
Yeah, sure.
people are like, oh, I've been thinking about this lately, and I've been seeing this around like a lot. Like this has been popping up. Of course, it's popping up because your mind wants you to focus on that thing because that's what you've been thinking about all this time.
Yeah.
Or the funny thing is when you're like searching for something and you're really looking for it, but you can't find it because you know what I'm talking about, where you're like looking for like a word and there's like a list
Yeah.
of
The
words
tip
and
of
you're
the
like
tongue.
looking
Yeah. Yeah.
it's like it's just really funny how the mind plays tricks on you, and I
Yeah.
just like it's a mental game, it's a mental battle
Yes.
every day in my opinion. Like you have to understand that like your brain is the strongest thing, the strongest tool
Of course.
in your body. Like
Of course.
it literally it can fuck your day up or it can make your day the best. Like
Yes.
on so
Absolutely. And I think Kian touched on something that I wasn't even thinking about. Is you need to be in the right headspace to make a big decision like this. Oh, Kian's buffering. Hold on. You can't hear me on Discord, huh? Okay. Let's just try actually, is it reconnecting? I don't know. How about I give you a call back, huh? On Discord? Okay. Sorry about this, guys. Gonna try video calling him.
oh no, I got you.
Okay, you're good?
I
All right, I
think
muted
I'm on.
myself on FaceTime. So do you hear me on Discord?
Yeah, I hear you in Discord.
Okay, it's okay that your video's buffering for now since I'm talking anyway. But I was saying you need to be in the right headspace to make a big decision like this. If you're on, let's say, like if you're somebody with, I mean, I don't want to boil it down to mental health problems. You could also be like in an emotional high, right? And then your perspective is changed because let's say you have a lot of people around you and you're only looking at the grass is greener and you're only looking at the positives and you're like, I want to do what they want to do. I want to feel how they want to feel. But you don't see like, let's say your friend's a YouTuber. That's a really common one, right? You might see the finished product. You might think they're making a lot of money, but then you don't see the hours they spend on editing. You don't see the hours they spend on trying to come up with a concept for a new video, writing a script, filming, taking multiple takes, stuff like that, for example. So I think, being in the right headspace and surrounding yourself with some level-headed people. And yeah, actually that transitions into what I wanted to talk about next. Don't be afraid to ask other people's opinions. If you have people you trust, if you have hopefully you have parents you can trust, right? If you have parents you can trust, if you have friends you can trust, if you have peers you can trust, older or younger, like if you can get a sample of like, okay, you know, am I crazy? Is this reasonable? Like that can be very validating if they are supportive of you. At the same time, this can backfire if you think you can trust someone and these people are all lying to you or they're just trying to save face. So it's important. I mean, yeah. So it's
No, but
yeah.
you're hitting on a point, Kia. Like
Yeah.
it's just like I would rather I have the friends I have around give me a lot of shit. And I like that. You know why? Because they're being honest with me. I know I'm a goofball half the time. I know I mumble my words. I know I do some stupid shit and I get called out on it. And that's why I have people around me because like I don't want people lying to me all the time making me feel good. Like that's not a thing. Like you should be feeling almost every emotion every day. I feel like if my friends are providing that for me, I feel I'm a healthy person and my friends are healthy for me. Because you can't be living life being happy all the time, like you said, like looking at the glass half, like you know what I mean, like looking at the glass,
Sure.
being positive all the time. It makes no sense. You have to experience. You have to be one with yourself. You have to understand that like there are things you do that other people do not like.
Yeah.
Like, and you gotta accept the criticism. You can't be this person who's always thinking, oh, like I'm the right, I'm on the right, I'm always on the right, I'm always this, I'm always that. Like no, it's like it's not the case. And I feel like friends who tell the truth and don't lie to make
they're
you
very
feel
valuable.
Good, they're the most valuable friends, and they're the most valuable friends. And like, and that's why I'm always like, I mean, like, bro, like last night, bro, I said something stupid. I said like, who is your name or whatever after like mumbling. You guys were all shitting on me. I'm like, bro, I mean, like, yeah, I fucked up right there. I said
No,
some
it's okay,
stupid shit.
but that's yeah, sure. We
No,
did
but it's
that.
just an example.
Yeah,
That's
it's an
just an
example.
example I can
Yeah.
like come up with right now in my head. Like, let's say like freaking
Yeah,
I'm
sure. The
talking.
small and the big things. Yeah. Something
Yeah,
small
of
like
course.
misspeaking while you're having fun, and something as big as making a decision and you want some serious input.
Yeah, I mean, even when you have like an opinion on like a subject that like you're talking about, I mean, it's always good to be listening to other people's like other people's opinions instead of just like closing yourself off after
Of
like
course.
listening to it. Yeah, I just like it's hard, and that's the thing. Like for some reason, when it comes to politics and religion, it's so hard to have a conversation with someone without getting like butthurt or like offended. It's because it's like you're
Hmm.
sort of questioning their belief system. I feel like I
Something
don't know,
deep
but this is
down.
a different topic. That's a
Actually,
different topic.
actually, I can tie this in real quick. Can you turn your video on Discord? See if it works.
Okay.
Perfect. Okay, you're back. Wonderful.
Thank you.
Welcome back. Anyway, so I think actually that could be relevant, and the reason I say that is when you're talking about I think I would say people who are older, specifically like let's say your parents and your family. Let's say you come from a family of engineers. Yeah,
Civil.
everyone in your family is engineer. They all went to grad school. They all are very educated. And you say that, okay, well, I'm not looking at grad school right now. Actually, I'm thinking of working already. Doesn't matter what you're doing. You're detracting from what they and their family have done. In their view, that's going to touch deep down. Okay, so similar to talking about, let's say, politics or religion, it's like an inherent belief. It's like, this is the way to do things. This is how we've done it. I'm successful. Why aren't you doing this so that you can be successful? Why aren't you taking my advice? This is so easy. I have the proven track record, and you're going off of the broken path. What are you doing? You know, it's it's gonna happen if you have a situation like that, right? And if that happens, then it's hard to have a conversation and to actually go through with changing, because this is your family. This is somebody who you probably hold dear, their opinion, and you want to make them happy. You don't want to go against their word. You don't want to scare them. You don't want to, all those things. So I guess I wanted to just share a piece of advice if you're in that situation, which I presume you are if you want to change your career path and if there is a hill to climb. Because if you have super supportive and open minded parents, you're not going to have that hill to climb. They'll support you. Anyway, so if that is an obstacle, I would advise to not be too vocal about it. Not lying, because lying is not usually the answer, almost never. But to silently work hard at this. And you don't have to share all of your achievements with them. But then when you are at a level where you can quote unquote brag or say, like, wow, look at where I'm at, then maybe they'll start to open up. Because usually with these things, it's once the money comes, right? It's once the money comes, then the perspective is changed. So I guess that would be my advice. Silently work hard. And then once you have somebody to show off, that's when they're ready to hear it, basically.
Yeah.
So that's how I could tie
No.
that in together. Okay, so I think we've covered how, like the hurdle, the climbing the mountain, and what it takes to climb the mountain. All right, now you've climbed the mountain. How do you stay motivated? Because even if you love what you do, even if you can
Yeah.
grind, there are times where you're like, I don't want to really do this right now, or I'm feeling a little down today. Or let's say we're all stuck at home and we can't do the things we love, right? How do you stay productive when there's a barrier, whether it's mental or physical? So, do you have something you want to say about that?
Yeah, with the mental thing, what I've learned with, and it's like honestly funny. It's like I've been like learning a lot about like overcoming addictions because
Okay.
and usually the mind, what I've read was the mind, if you're really like hungry or like you're not hungry, but if you're like don't want to do something, it only lasts 10 to 15 minutes. So if you can overcome the 10 to 15 minutes like of that like sort of like wave of negativity, you can
So like
sort
push
of
through it.
push through it. It's like that's how I see it. Like I've woken up where I've been like, shit, like I gotta wake up at 3 in the morning again, back to back to back, and do this. Like this is hard on me and my body. But all I know is that if I take 5 to 10 minutes just to think about myself, stretch, breathe, walk around, and not sit myself, I know that I can do something. I'm engaging my body, I'm engaging my mind, and I'm trying to feel something. So that's what I'm trying every morning. That's what I try to do. I try to engage my mind, engage my body, and feel something. And if that doesn't work, then I mean it doesn't work. But that's what my routine has been, and that's what's been working for me. And
Okay. That's solid advice, actually. Engaging your body, engaging your mind. That's totally valid advice. There have been countless studies about the link between mental health and physical health. So, already, just good life advice on the side. Get 90 minutes of aerobic activity per week. Your quality of life will dramatically increase. Your mental health, your physical health, you'll probably lose some weight. You'll probably look better. You'll feel better. So do that.
I mean, breathing too, like just
Breathing.
any type of breathing exercise too, man.
Sure.
It helps so much. That like I learned. I mean, like, bro, the reason why people love the sensation of smoking is because you're taking deep breaths in and you're releasing, and it's just like a breathing exercise. But at the
Ah.
time, you're inhaling all this shit, so it's not the right way. But at the time, don't smoke anything. Deep breath there for 5 minutes. I'm telling you guys, I'm telling you, it will make your fucking day better. sorry for cursing, but like it's
It's
that
okay.
easy. It's that, in my opinion. And
Yeah.
my
We encourage you guys to do your own research as well, but yes,
yeah.
yeah, I'd probably believe that 100%. So yeah, get over that first wave of negativity. I think that's a good piece of advice. So whether it's 15 minutes or not,
Yeah.
there's this idea that I heard from a psychologist that life for somebody who's older, like let's say our parents, it was about kind of survival. They're like, I have to do this. I have to survive. I have to succeed in life. They always had that go and get 'em attitude. That's why we always hear our parents are such hard workers. Why are millennials so lazy? Well, why are millennials so lazy? Because life for us seems to be more about pleasure, more about happiness, I would argue. And we aren't trying just to survive. We're like, okay, well, we can survive. We have parents who worked hard for us and they're going to provide for us if we're fortunate enough to be in that situation and have that privilege. And okay, well, let's find what makes us happy. Let's search for that. So then the fire is not necessarily lit underneath us, right? Survival is a pretty big motivator, right? I have to survive. I have to work hard. Well, you have the mindset you should have is I have to do this. So if you have that wave of negativity, look, you're I don't want to use war as an example. Let's something else. You're a doctor, okay? And your patient is you're called at 3 a.m. in the middle of the night and you need to perform an emergency surgery. But you're feeling really down and you're depressed. Do you have, are you able to say no? And it's like, no, I have to do it, okay? I'm not saying to treat every situation like that, but use that I have to do this mindset as much as you can. It's beneficial and it helps you stay productive.
Modern day survival of the fittest. I mean, like
Mm-hmm.
at the end of the day, it's just like how much work you're gonna put into what you're gonna do. I mean, again, like I don't think this is the thing. Like, why would you ever? Okay, yes. So I'm in a good position, and other people are in a lesser position than I am in the financial world because of my parents. But I feel like people really like make the whole like I need to make money thing way too quickly, and they jump into jobs that they don't want to do. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, obviously they can't get other jobs because they're young high schoolers or young college people who don't have that much
Yeah.
experience in the workforce. But there is so much you can do now if you just access like a library or the internet. Like you can find ways to make money where you can enjoy it and not kill yourself. You can hate it, obviously, but I just feel like like, what do you do when, okay, when you're a kid in the playground,
Yeah.
like when you're a parent, I'm saying, and you want to see what your kids are good at, what do? You put them outside and you make them run and you see them what they do, like test and trial. You can definitely see at a young age what a kid will progress in later. Like you
Okay.
can see if he's an active person, if he's sort of like shy, like not like baby, but like let's say 5 to 7. You can definitely see
Okay.
what kids' interests will sort of be later on. So I never understood the fact where it's just like we don't focus on that and we just put them into school. I know I'm changing the subject right now, I feel like, but that's where my mind just went. I don't know.
So no, it's a good idea. It's a good point. Like, why don't you go more towards your natural tendencies? And is school the one-stop shop to answer everyone's "What do I want to do for the rest of my life?" question? That's basically what you're asking.
Well, school puts you, they give you a curriculum where half this stuff you learn. I really feels like school is meant, so school has, the education system hasn't really changed since it started, and it's very archaic, and school was meant, what I've learned, it was meant for factory workers, for blue collar workers. That's why they lined them up in rows. That's why like you raise your hand, and that's when you get chosen to speak. You know what I mean? Like that's how it goes. Like it's treating you. It's trying to make you into a follower, and it hasn't. Just, and I really feel like schools destroy the creativity. Have, they don't know what to do because they have been given this, oh, this is have to be successful in life. Oh, this is what you have to do. Like you want to, like, oh, take these classes because this is going to help you. Like, no, they don't really help you, because at the end of the day, these classes don't know, the curriculum doesn't know who you are as a person
Okay.
and what is actually good for you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's like we look at, we think this, we think that we have a problem, we have a solution for this problem, and we're gonna let the whole world consume it. But that's such a huge amount of people. How can you like really focus on all these people who have different types of qualities, different types of thinking, and you're gonna give them the same curriculum? You know, that's my thing.
Yeah, well,
And,
what you're asking for
and
is educational reform. What you're asking for is a more tailored education. You're pointing out maybe specifically the American education system doesn't touch on creativity enough. Yeah, these are all valid points.
I just think it stems to the whole fact of like, like doing something later in life and not putting 100% in, because you've been given this false, like you've been given like, oh, this is what you need to do. Oh, this is what you need to be successful. Oh, this is what you need to be successful. No, it's like focus on some things that make you happy and you want to work your whole life towards too. You know what I mean? And that's what I feel like the schools, and like from the beginning at a young age, like it really tries to destroy that creativity of a person. Like tries to destroy like the mindset of someone who wants to like grow more as a person, instead of like being stuck in a room with someone teaching you something that probably does not want to be your teacher, does not want to be there. You know what I mean? It's just, at the end of the day, it's not taken care of correctly, and it leads up to that. Like people not knowing what they want to do later in life. People are scared to change what they want to do.
Yes.
People are scared to like that. So yeah,
I think actually that could relate to something that I wanted to talk about on the previous subject. So I asked, when there's a physical or a mental barrier, what can you do to stay productive? And my answer was actually going to be, you got to get creative. You got to think outside the box. Okay. So I can't speak for what Kian does, but I can speak for what I do. All right. My step one, I told myself, step one, okay, I need to get some voice acting lessons, and I need to get a voice acting coach to see where I'm at. Am I really far behind? Do I have a lot of work I need to put in? Or am I further along? Am I almost ready to... Oh, Zara, thank you for the donation. I really appreciate that. Thank you. She says money to not cough on me. Very funny. Thank you so much, Zara. I appreciate that. So what I was saying is we're trying to be creative so that we can get past this. Okay, I had to do a voice acting lesson. I had to get a voice acting coach. First of all, I can do those things online. I can do both of them. All right, but I spoke with and have read a lot about what professionals say, and they say the in-studio experience, being surrounded by your classmates and getting one-on-one, especially I'm speaking through a mic instead of speaking in person. Like, these are really important factors. So I said, I want to save this for real life. So I can't do that right now. What am I doing instead? Look, I'm having a conversation with my good friend Kian over the air. I've been streaming a lot. I didn't have plans to stream as much as I do, not even a little bit, right? I'm streaming way, way, way more than I thought I was a month ago, okay? When I started a month ago, I thought I was going to do a podcast like whenever I felt like it, and that's it. Then I started streaming Smash. Then I started streaming Fortnite. Then I started streaming Halo. Now I'm having podcasts maybe once, twice a week, and it's just ballooning from there. So, yeah. Get creative, think outside the box, and at the same time, what am I doing? I'm practicing being in front of the camera. I have an audience. I'm engaging with people. This is all a part of somewhat related to what I eventually think I will be doing for a long time. So, do you have an example of something you're doing to stay productive?
Right now, during these times?
Sure. Yeah.
So right now, I've been taking pictures. I've been really into taking pictures,
Okay.
driving around Los Angeles and taking pictures
Yeah.
of people and the environment. That's been something I've been really into. I work out at home. I don't go
Sure.
to the gym. I work out every day, almost every day. Push-ups, pull-ups, sit-ups.
Nice.
In quarantine.
Your audio is cutting in and out. Hold on. Can you hear me? Yeah, I was saying your audio is cutting in and out.
I can hear. I can hear
Okay,
you.
you're good. Okay, don't mind me. I'm gonna do 10 push-ups because someone redeemed it. But go on, keep talking.
You did 10 push-ups? Can I do
I'll
the
do
10 push-ups?
Okay, you can do it too.
Yeah! Oh, fuck yeah. Oh, yeah. Woo!
All right, at the expense of my headphones, we did some push-ups. Woo! You're welcome. My
But,
life, my wife left me. Please come back. Requested that, so thank you.
Yeah, I was actually, because before you asked me the question, I was thinking of something which is sort of connected to the question you just asked me. And I was just just a little another advice. Like, don't let your career define who you are as a person.
True.
You know what I mean? Like, people are stuck with just one career their whole lives, or just like they switch and they're like, okay, this is what I do. This is what I do. It's like, no, man. Like, I learned from this quarantine, side hustles
Yeah.
are so important.
Yeah.
Are so important. Like, it grows you as a person. Like, finding little things to do just to make a little bit of money on the side. It's not even thinking about the money. It actually just helps you and like makes you just a well-round better person and understands a little more about. You have a little more, a little more traits under the belt.
Yeah, absolutely. Real quick. So, two things. One, can you mute FaceTime? Two, I wanted to touch on a comment that Monica made. Monica, when we were talking about classes, said that she disagrees with what you were saying, since not all classes are that sort of way that you said. You round them up, you raise your hand. Like, there are different styles of teaching, and there are different classrooms and different teachers.
Yes, of course, but in the majority of public schools, you're having kids literally lined up in rows and answering questions and following a curriculum.
In America, maybe talking about.
Yeah, in the United States. I mean, like, I have no other like knowledge of other countries besides like the French academic system, because we in like French private school we learned that, and that was rigorous too, bro. Like,
Absolutely.
Would you want to, from that experience, would you ever want to go and have a French teacher again? In your opinion?
No, I have very I disrespect a lot of the ways that the French teachers taught.
So I just like, it's not. I get what Monica's saying, but there's too many people who are teaching our kids who don't care about the kids, and like those are, and like you're basically our parents at the end of the day. We see teachers more than we see our parents.
Yeah.
Like most of us do, and it's just a little. I just think it's unfair to the growing process, to who we are as people.
Sure.
Like we're trying. We all are creatives. We all are creatives, and I just feel like at the end of the day, it does not. And if we're trying to push an education system for everyone, that's unfair because that's just like it's you're asking sometimes you're asking a fish to climb a tree. You know what I mean? For some people, like no, it is like some people don't really fuck with school, and I was probably one of those kids. I mean, like
Sure.
I pushed myself in things that I liked, but there were so law subjects I did not give an f about because it did not interest me whatsoever, and I was not focused on it. And I was called names by teachers. I've been laughed at teachers, and it wasn't fun. It was not a fun
No,
experience, and that's
I definitely saw that firsthand. Like the way that Kian was treated by teachers, I don't blame him for the way he thinks about school and teachers. It wasn't.
I mean, like, I have nothing against someone who goes to school all like I just feel like people should really focus on like after graduating high school, do a year off, do 2 years off, find something that you
Ah,
actually
okay,
like,
okay,
you
that's
know,
perfect. I forgot I wanted to mention the gap year,
I mean,
the
like
golden gap year.
if I ever have a kid, I would definitely recommend them. Hey, like you don't have to rush anything.
Yeah,
You don't have to do anything. Like you can literally like finish high school. You have that GED. You have that, so you don't have to like you're qualified to be in the work. You do a year, two, and you don't have to go to school for. Or you
perfect.
want to go
Yeah,
to school, study for something.
yeah.
And like there's so much information out there now too, Kia. Like you were saying, like learning online for voice acting. Bro, there's so many other things you can learn online for that you don't need school for.
Sure.
You don't even have to go to school for business real estate. You can literally get your real estate license, take a month, 2 month, 3 month course, and then get your license. And then after you can be a
There are
a real
trade
estate broker.
schools, there are licenses, there are crafts that you don't need any education to do. But I think the most important thing is finding that one thing, getting exposure to that one thing that you want to do. Before I move on to that gap year topic, Monica says that hopefully the education system is changing that way that the teachers thought and that they would demean the students, and that's good news. That's great to hear. Zara shared that I felt like an idiot in high school, and now I'm doing a master's in law, so I've got some confidence back. Took me doing an entire undergraduate in something I hated to realize what I really wanted to do. And that's okay. It's okay. You don't have to feel like you wasted your time. You don't have to feel like, oh, this is set me on the wrong path. I could have been doing this all that time. Listen, the way that life works is it's a bunch of events that lead to where you are today. All right. Today, Zara, for example, is in doing a master's in law. Would she be doing this if she had done something else in undergraduate? Who knows? You can't think about that. It's irrational. You cannot be stuck in the past. You can't be stuck in anything other than reality. If you ground yourself in the present and you learn from your past, I think that's the key to having a better future. So now we asked, how do you find out what to do, right? That was kind of a part of this question. To change your career path, you have to find out what you want. What path are you going to change to? Kian brought the great example of a gap year. For those of us who have the privilege to take a gap year,
Yeah,
and we have to recognize it is a privilege,
it is.
if that's a possibility, I think exposure is the number one answer to this. Okay, go intern at a law office. Go intern, see what I don't know engineers do for a week, a month, a day. Any exposure you can get. Be a librarian's assistant. Be a work for an animal shelter. I don't care. Whatever interests you have, maybe narrow them down, but explore them. Okay, what you think you realistically could do for the rest of your life and you would be happy doing. As long as you figure out, okay, what does this person do on a day-to-day basis, and maybe even just interview them. Like say, okay, what do you hate about your job? What do you like about your job? Like, is it worth it? Like those types of meaningful but easy to answer questions, right? You go to an animal shelter. What do you think they don't like about their job? Okay, sometimes when I'm cleaning up the shit, it gets on my arm and I hate that. Okay, fine. A lot of these animals, they don't get homes. It's heartbreaking. There's a lot of emotional trauma that I have to deal with. Oh, ouch. Okay, got to realize that. What do you like about it? Listen, we get a lot of animals to these homes. I love animals. I've always loved animals. Like, is it worth it? Yes, I think so, because we get more animals to homes than the ones that don't make it. Okay, now you've got an idea of the way that this person thinks, the way that they justify their career to themselves. And I think that exposure is incredibly important. And diving in to the deep end of something that maybe you don't even know how it works in reality, that could be problematic.
Yeah. Right. I mean, yeah, you gotta just ground yourself. I don't know. You could be. I mean, like at the end of the day, like what do you say? Like be honest with yourself. So.
Yeah, yeah, it's a part of that. And Kian was saying the library, the internet, in-person experience, all any sort of research you can do. Yeah.
Yeah. No, you're right. No, my bad.
You have some stuff to say. Go for it. I've been
No,
talking.
I'm just saying, like, I was just thinking, like, even though, like, you take that leap year or whatever, and you work
A
in
leap
something,
year,
or
a gap
gap
year.
year, my bad, gap year, and you still, and you work let's say you work a shitty job, you still can learn from the experiences and
Yeah.
not treat it like a shitty job. You know what I mean? Like, it's like at the end of the day, it's like going back to it. It's all how you mentally perceive things, how you mentally like
Yes.
digest. Like, it's just at the end of the day, it's like, listen, I have to do this shit in order to become this.
Yeah.
Like, this is like, it's not about the, like, again, cliche as fuck, but it's not about the finish line, it's about the journey, right?
Yes.
It's like,
Yeah.
so I just feel like if you take things day by day and ground yourself, like you said, and you go get over the, yeah, it's shit, but free.
Your
Anytime,
connection's a little choppy right now. The last few sentences cut off.
like, if you take every moment in your life, look back at it, you'll have at least one thing you learned about
Yeah.
each experience. So people need to sort of look at it like that, where it's like, yes, I'm putting myself through these terrible hours, terrible job. I don't want to be frying fries. I don't want to be doing this. But there are things within that time where it's beneficial to you to grow as a person and not be stubborn and like say, oh, this is a shitty job. Oh, this is this. Oh, this is that. I wish I was doing this. I wish I was doing that. Like, you got to think at the end of the day, like, yes, we all want to be relaxed and having a peaceful life, but you can't, because at the end, like, we as humans, we thirst for more. We want more. We always want more. At the end of the day, no matter what, we always want more. And it's more, things are tangible, intangible. I don't know. But that's the thing. Like, you can't say, oh, I don't want to do anything. I don't want to work. I just want money coming in. No, it's not going to, it doesn't work like that.
Instant gratification is not a thing.
It's not a thing.
It's only in the virtual world. It's only on mobile games. It's only on your phone, on social media. It doesn't exist in the real world.
Exactly. And it's a high like this. It goes and comes like this. Like this. Like, honestly, that high that you get, that good feeling.
There are two tragedies in life. Not having what you want and finally getting what you want. That's why Kian says that it's about the journey, not the destination. It's no more true than what I just said.
Bro, if like people, it's amazing.
Kian, keep talking. Like, I'm going to do 10 squats and 10 push-ups. Go for it.
Don't worry. I just think it's like, it's crazy to like think about the fact that people you doing 10 squats. I can't be serious right now while you're doing squats.
Come on,
I see the hand going out. No, what we were just talking about, I just got sidetracked from the squat.
God damn it. We were talking about the journey, not the destination.
Oh yeah, I just think it's crazy when someone just sets themselves a goal, and then after that goal, they just feel like it's like, oh, I'm good, I'm done. No, it's just like that's why I think side hustles are so important, because it shows that like you shouldn't be focused on one thing. You should be focused on multiple avenues in order to broaden your horizon and broaden who you are as a person, instead of sticking to one single thing. Because if you stick to one single thing, that goal at the end, there's only gonna be a few people that are just gonna be like, I guess, happy with your success or understanding your success or understanding that goal. I just feel like at the end of the day, you're gonna be that solo part, like that solo guy. If you only have one goal and you finish and you're like, oh, I don't need to do anything else. I've achieved what I wanted to achieve. What else do I need to achieve? You know what I mean?
Yes.
But I don't think that's. I mean, because people are so focused. Like, again, going back to, don't let your career just define you as a person. I just feel like that's the thing. Like, people literally work. Some people work one career or work in one type of business their whole lives, and they they drown themselves in that type of
It's
world, and
stagnation.
that's the only thing that they know. And then they have this false like reality. And I just feel like, I mean, I'm
I'd
not saying
argue
I have
that's
a
what's wrong with Mark Zuckerberg. That's what's wrong with Jeff Bezos. That's what's wrong with Elon Musk. Like all these people, they're really good at what they do, and you start becoming narcissistic. Your ego inflates. You lose touch with reality. Like that's what happens with these types of people. But what I think Zara brought up that was very important is that yes, it's important to start a new journey and make a change, but following through when you start something, if possible, is really important because otherwise you have nothing to show for the shitty parts of your journey. So, whatever you're doing, do it well. Listen, if you need to work a part time job in retail, in the service industry, to make your passion possible, to pay the rent this month, fine. But do that to the best of your ability. Okay? Some people say that working retail, working in the service industry is like a rite of passage for learning how to properly deal with, people working in that industry. You get a day, a week, a month, a year in their shoes, and you're like, wow, people don't even treat me as a human. Like, this is crazy. So, being the best, fine. You serve food at a fast food window. Serve it well. Try to be nice to the people you serve. Learn whatever lessons you can from those around you. Just try to be productive. Try to put your heart into it if you can. And you'll get more from it than if you half-ass it. I think half-assing things only comes back to bite you in that half of the ass that you didn't put into it, I guess.
like like
Hold on, you're robot mode. Can you say what you're saying one more time?
from my personal experience,
Uh-huh.
my first job was a security guard for a wine bar. Man, I took that job so seriously. I was a security guard. I bar backed for them. I would look like a manager. I would tell them where to go. I
Sure.
knew everything. I became friends with the whole crew because of my work. Just like I honestly think a good, what's the word?
A work ethic? Is that what you're saying?
Not, uh, a good attitude
Oh, yeah.
takes you anywhere. A good attitude takes you anywhere because it shows that you want to learn, you want to work with the people around you, and you're not going to be a problem. Like you're not going to cause a problem out of nowhere. I just feel like a good attitude really shows other people that you're here to work and that you were willing to go the extra mile. Like, and that's the thing. Like you said, like be nice to people. You don't know being nice to that person will take you later in life. It's like connections are so important.
Yeah.
Anything like knowing someone and being kind to someone is so important because you don't know how beneficial that person will be to you later in life. So I just feel like having just a good attitude, which like I was 18, 19. No, wait. No, I wasn't 19.
Point is, you were young. You're a young
young.
adult.
I was young.
Yeah.
And I was literally working at a wine bar, and I went the extra mile. I was a good security guard. They were saying every security guard they had before that was not talking to anyone, was just walking around and not doing anything. And all I did was walk around, make sure shit was fine. And then after they gave me more tasks and more things to do, which wasn't a security guard job. Mm-hmm. And I felt like
Did it feel more fulfilling?
I felt so fulfilling. Dude, at first, I used to hate the job. I did not want it. And then after, I was like getting more and more, and I was like, oh my God, this is so much fun. Like, I'm getting to be part of this thing where I get to see how it's moving. I get to see how, like, food is being from the kitchen to, like, from the floor to the floor. I'm seeing how people, like, managers are talking to buyers and sellers. It's really interesting. Just that, I mean, from my experience, having a good attitude, where it can take you.
I couldn't agree more. And yeah, we were just stemming off that one thing Zara said, but it's so important to do that. And you said something that I want to touch on in this episode. I know I've talked about it before, but when you said it's important to make connections, it's important to get to know people, I think that's true for any industry that you're in. It doesn't matter if you want to be a doctor, engineer, actor, lawyer. It doesn't matter. I would argue having a good relationship with people, learning interpersonal communications, becoming emotionally mature, All of these things can only serve you. Um, I think burning a bridge, like that's like a last case scenario for me. I try never to burn any bridges. You never know
Hard.
when you're gonna cross that bridge one day. And it sounds abstract, but really, it's you just don't know where life will take you. Okay, one day, someone you've not talked to in 19 years said something once, maybe 19 years ago, a mega nerd at a comic book store that you were in an awkward conversation with, who gave you his number and that you knew you were never going to talk to him, talked about Bitcoin. And then you heard that Bitcoin went huge like 3 years ago. Okay, you're probably going to want to see what's up with him or what he's talking about now to try to get ahead of the curve. I don't know. Random example. I made it all up, but it's to illustrate that it can never hurt, right? You kept his number. Okay. Did it take a lot of space on your phone? No. Did you have to write it down somewhere and it took a lot of space in your drawer? No. Okay. Then what harm did it do? Okay. Nothing really. Then just do it. Keep that number. Don't block that person. Don't lose that number. Don't delete that email. Like, the worst thing you can do is to regret something which you once had. So try your best to make new connections, and I think that can serve you greatly in life.
And
Hold on, Kian, you're in robot mode. I'll tell you, just keep talking. I'll tell you when we can hear you. Almost. You're almost there. Robo Kian is almost gone. Okay, I think you're good.
I was just saying to put yourself in uncomfortable position.
Yeah.
Uncomfortable position.
Oh yes.
I feel like once you're comfortable, it's hard for you to progress into anything. So if you feel a little too comfortable, I really think that seeking discomfort is very helpful.
I want to hijack that idea actually. So my cousin, what's up, Toaster Strudel? My cousin, that must be Daria. What's up, Daria? My cousin helped me decide what college I was going to go to. I had basically the same financial package, like the equivalent finances from this school called LMU and this school called UCI. Okay. So money was not the deciding factor. It was literally what I wanted to do after and the campus and sort of, esoteric things like that. So I visited LMU and I visited UCI. The dorms at UCI that they showed me were old, they were ugly, they were small. The dorms that they showed me at LMU were grand, they were refurbished, they were modern, the campus was beautiful. I thought everyone at UCI looked kind of ugly. I thought everyone at LMU looked kind of attractive. Stuff like that. Really, really superficial stuff. And when I came home, after those two visits, I was like, come on, Mom, the choice is clear. LMU. And she's like, yeah, I agree. And then my cousin, who went to UCI, so he was obviously biased, he had to talk with me. He said, Kia, okay, you're coming from a private school. You can go to another private school, and you can be a big fish in a small pond. Fine. If that's how you want to go about life, that's okay. But I would argue make yourself uncomfortable. I would say, and that's where I got this from. He said, make yourself uncomfortable. He said, put yourself out there. You're an intelligent person today, but you have much more room to grow, and you won't even recognize yourself from when you finish college. You won't even remember what the guy was before you went to college. And I still credit him to this day. It was Shaw, Kian. You know Shaw, right?
Oh, awesome. Yeah, of course.
I still credit him to this day with helping me make one of the most important decisions in my life. And I don't regret it in any capacity. I said I struggled the first 2 years. Fine. Maybe I wouldn't have at LMU. But I think the growth that came from those 1 to 2 years and then the further experiences I had at UCI, meeting Monica Som in the chat, that's a part of it. All of that was so much more valuable than just, let's say, doing well in college, right? So I cannot agree more. Put yourself in positions that you are not comfortable in deliberately. these are your learning experiences. These are your growing experiences. And I'm not telling you to go to a dark alley in the middle of the night and, try to fight someone. That's not what I'm saying. Try to make it productive. Try to be intelligent about it. So I think it's a great thing that you brought up, Keon.
Thank you, thank you.
Yeah. Did you know that thing about LMU, or is it the first time you heard that?
Well, no, I didn't know. That was the first time I heard about the LMU thing. I did not know that you like. I mean, I remember hearing about LMU, but I didn't know that like the dorms were that nice and compared to UCI. I mean, and all the comparisons between these two schools. So I mean, I get that, and now understanding that what type of decision you made for yourself
Yeah.
now, and hearing from that makes a lot of sense why you made that decision for yourself. And also, LMU is so close to home too,
Oh
right?
yeah, of
Like,
course. Yeah, there was always that. Yeah. Yeah, so there were basically, it's really tempting to stay comfortable, stay in your comfort zone, to not go out of your way to be um, uncomfortable. But in the bigger picture, right, I'm happy I made that decision. And the reason is that you, when you put yourself in an uncomfortable position, you grow in ways you didn't expect. I always bring the example of this one religion course that I took at UCI. It was, yeah. So this matured my view on religion almost like in the 3 months that I was in the course, like that. It was crazy. Basically, um, this course was called Religious Dialogue. There were like 200 kids in it. There would be a lecture with all 200 of us, a discussion with 40 of us, and then another lecture with all 200 of us. In the lecture, an idea is
yeah.
presented, and we're just learning about it. In the discussion, we have to get our opinions on these ideas, and there are usually two sides or three sides, and you have to kind of put yourself in one of those sides and argue for it. Do you want to ask a question, or you're just stretching?
In religion,
Say that again.
Western or Eastern practices of
Oh
religion.
no, this is religious dialogue, all sorts of religion. So
Okay,
yeah, yeah,
okay.
everything.
Well,
Um, so
that's cool.
so in the discussion, like I was saying, we would have to pick some sides. We would have to decide how we think about it, and then we had to argue for it. Then it would open up to the whole class, and you would physically all go on the stage to represent how many people believe this way, how many people believe that way, and you would all have turns, getting like a I don't know, like a 5 second blurb in the microphone, and then people could come and contest the ideas. People could come and talk more about the ideas. Mon, yes, absolutely. These are these helped me grow. This actually, nobody made me take this course. This was a totally elective course. I think maybe,
This is
huh?
sounds like a dope course.
No,
That sounds like a
this
really cool
this
course.
was easily top three courses I took at UCI, easily. And the professor's awesome. The TA, I still have a relationship with the TA to this day. I talk to her, and I see her every now and again. Anyway, point is, I entered that course thinking one way about religion, which I would look in retrospect and say that was very immature. I think it might have been a gen ed mon. I'm not sure. And then I walked out of that course with a much more deep understanding of what religion means to individuals. And I'm very happy I took the course. And it's always that you never know what's going to happen type of things that turn out to be the best experiences, in my opinion.
I agree.
Yeah. Was there anything like that at either your one of the jobs you worked at, or at like one of the courses you took, or in film school,
In
anything
what?
like that?
Like
Like just like,
controversial?
oh, I don't know what's gonna happen. Like you took a weird job, let's say, and
Yeah. I mean, yeah. It happens all the time. I mean, because of the fact that I'm a freelancer, so I'm just I'm passed on by word of mouth by producers and production coordinators. So
yeah,
I've taken jobs where I don't even know who texts me, and it's like, and I'm not working the next day. It's like, hey, do you want to work the next day? And I'm like, yeah. And then I find out that I'm there. I'm only one of the other PAs. So
yeah,
basically, production assistants are the ones who do most of the blue collar work. I mean, everyone does blue collar work, but it's like the ones that are like basically doing like
you're the
shit
hands.
work.
You're the hands. Yeah,
Yeah, I'm the hand. I'm just like whatever you need, I'm there. So I basically like not too long ago, 2 months ago, took a job, and the AD the whole time was mispronouncing my name. We went 4
Oh
hours
wait, can I
over the
know how they
set.
were mispronouncing it?
He was calling me Kieran the whole fucking time. He was
They
calling,
just put an R in
and you
there.
know, bro, the funniest thing is that I worked with this assistant director before too. This guy, I've worked with at least 3 or 4 music videos with him, and he knows me. We've had conversations with me. Fucking call me Kieran half the goddamn time. And then after freaking, I'm getting asked by like the art department, who already has like 4 people in their department, and I'm only one out of the 2 people, asking me to blow up balloons and risking my lungs to blow up balloons where they didn't have a pump. Like, I'm just like I know it sounds stupid, but with 14, 18-hour days, you have to sort of like put yourself in the right positions in order to succeed throughout the 14 and 18-hour days and don't burn out. So like, if an art person is asking me to do something that's supposed to be an art job, like specifically an art job, I'm not going to do it. So I was being asked to do all these things, which was so not right. And I was like, okay, I'm going to do some of it, not all of it. And I had to stand up for myself. And it really made me feel uncomfortable, like standing up for myself and saying no. The other PA was a PA that I referred to. I was like, yeah, I don't know who's going to be on this set, so I'm gonna invite my friend that they asked me to bring a PA, so I'm gonna invite him. And he was like, he looked at me, he's like, Kian, I'm very proud of you for standing up for yourself, because like most PAs would just like do what they're told, even though they're not supposed to do that. And I'm like, yeah, man, I can't be doing shit like left and right anymore if it's not else's job, and I do it myself. So I yourself in an uncomfortable situation. Like, you gotta say yeah. Okay, my thing is that I have to bullshit half the time on my job. Like, if someone says, "Oh, can you do this?" I'm like, "Yeah," and then after I have to go ask someone else, like, "Yo, what is this?" You know what I mean? Like, I don't really know what is exactly. So I don't know. Like, don't be a yes man, but do try to seek discomfort when like something comes upon you. I feel like trying to tackle that, but still be resourceful. Like, ask people around you. Like, you don't have to be a one-man army. You can take on the task and ask other people. People would love to help. You know what I mean? People are always there to help. So that's my...
So you'd say maybe that help, that idea of getting help from others, maybe that's something you learned throughout all of your jobs put together, but this specific standing up for yourself, that's the only time you've had to do it, basically, or one of the only times you've had to do it?
Yeah, because I work on professional sets. Like, this is supposed to be a professional set. It's just a music video, and that's when I sort of like also learned that I should not be taking that many more music videos.
Okay.
Because, like, they don't treat their workers as well as commercials and movies and TV shows. The pay isn't as good, and you don't know actually how long. You might not get any OT pay, and you don't know how long they really.
OT is overtime for the people who don't work. Yeah. Anyway.
So I don't know. I think the way I put it is like to make myself feel uncomfortable in my workforce is to say yes to a lot of things.
Great advice. Yeah.
That I do sort of know, but I also know that I will have people around me to help me towards this, so I can learn something while doing it. You know what I mean? Like, you gotta bullshit somehow. There's no way that you know everything. You have to, and if that comes to a point where you don't know something and you're gonna be like, I don't know, they're gonna find someone that knows, and they're probably gonna replace you. So it's a dog eat dog world in my business, and probably most of these business industries in the world. So I just feel like saying yes to a lot of things. I mean, things that are appropriate, obviously, not things that are like they're like anything sexual or like demeaning, or anything that's like anything that's demeaning. No, but like something that you can actually do and get a little help from someone else. Dude, say yes. What's the harm of that?
So your lesson is finding any excuse to say yes, but knowing when to say no, basically.
Yeah, knowing when to say no. You gotta find that threshold, because you gotta respect yourself as a person and know what you can do. I just feel like it's just like knowing who you are and what you can tackle. That's very important.
And that goes back, we're going full circle here. Being honest with yourself, knowing your limitations. Boom. You like that? We tied it all together.
that's life though. I mean, that's the thing. Like, and like you should. Yeah, we don't have to talk about it.
We're literally ready to stretch this into a full new podcast, basically. Um, I think. What's
It's
up?
like, no, go.
Well, I was gonna say we hit basically every talking point that I wanted to for this focused topic, and I love catching people right as they want to say something because that means they're eager for the next time that they want to come on. You feel me?
I love talking, man. You know me. Sometimes when I say stuff, it doesn't really make sense, but at least I try to express myself.
No, I think you made a lot of sense, and I love having conversation with you. Actually, this is a great conversation we had.
I thought this was a really cool conversation.
Yeah,
I'm sad that we have more topics to talk about.
we do. Oh, we do.
Can I ask you one thing though, Kyo?
Yeah.
Has this quarantine, because you said that you had like sort of that change when you were not getting accepted to your safety schools.
Yeah.
Were you like, did like quarantine really put you on the path of voice acting? And
I was fully on it before
Okay.
quarantine. So,
Alright.
but what it did do is push me towards streaming. What it did do,
Okay, cool.
like right now, I'm streaming so much because of quarantine. Otherwise, I would probably be still streaming, but just not as much. So I'm hey, we'll see where it goes, right? I'm trying my best. I don't hear you, Kian. I don't hear you.
You don't hear me?
Okay, now you're back. What were you saying?
No, I was just gonna say, because my point, like, is me as a person, I don't know how the industry is gonna react after this. I don't know if I'm gonna have jobs. Like, I'm talking to the people that give me jobs and here and there, and they don't know when it's coming back. So I've been thinking of, like, when we were talking about side hustles, I've been like sort of changing sort of like how I should be thinking about the future. I'm sort of not waiting for the industry to come back. I'm like pushing myself to do other things.
That's very
so
smart.
Right now I'm working out a lot. So, and I've been told that I should go modeling. So I should.
Yes.
That's what I'm starting. I'm pushing that. Like,
Boom.
I'm trying to find other things that I'm not going to be so worried about once this pandemic ends. And that's what I was like, I wanted to talk about.
Yeah.
Like, are you like going to be fully pursuing that quarantine, that like podcast, voice acting after quarantine, or are you going to be focusing on other things as well? It's like, you know what I mean?
Let's use the example of a quarantine, right? I think a great thing about something like voice acting, right? There's a lot of remote work that you can do. So if I was hesitant on a at-home studio, I would be more decisive on saying, no, I definitely need an at-home studio. But I'll tell you, in terms of is there voiceover work right now? Yes, there is. And recording a podcast, right? Technically, you can do that anywhere, anytime. You have a phone, you can do it. But to have this all set up here, like, I feel secure with the different avenues that I'm going in. So if maybe I was focused on mainly voiceover work, like and less so streaming and podcasts, I kind of want to tackle them equally. So technically, I think that would make streaming my side hustle and then voiceover work the main thing. Okay. So that's sort of my future-proof plan. Like, if I can create a brand out of myself, that opens a humongous possibilities in voiceover work, but also outside of voiceover work. So why wouldn't I try to tackle that? And I'll see if I have what it takes to build such a brand and develop an audience and stuff like that. We'll see if I can get to that point.
You got it what it takes. You got what it takes, buddy.
I appreciate that, bro.
No problem.
But yeah, go on.
Yeah. I just think it's an interesting time. A very interesting time for, like, because people are getting furloughed, people are losing jobs.
Changes in perspectives are happening.
A lot of changes in perspective. So I'm just like thinking, because I mean, like, I'm unemployed because of the whole thing. So I was thinking, like, man, I mean, I gotta figure out things to do in order to make some money after this or during
if something
this.
like this happens, right?
Yeah. So I don't know. It's just a very I want to say again, like I'm very thankful for the position I am, so I can think about these things, and I don't have to worry about the next check or bill coming in.
Sure.
So I get that other people don't have this type of life right now, but I just feel like people should really focus on right now. I mean, it's the best time to focus on what really makes you happy and what you can sort of carry on with this pandemic and quarantine. Like what I can do to make myself happy and make money at the same time. Because you have time. There's time now. You have time. Like time is on your side. Time is on your side. I feel like right now, in the whole work world and like being who you want to be as a person. Like you can do whatever you want right now.
And you know, on Wednesday, originally we were just going to talk about what is the academic life going to look like after the pandemic, but
Yeah,
we could literally just broaden the horizon to what is the world going to look like post pandemic. And I think
I'm
that,
down.
yeah, we have a lot to talk about there. You were once again teasing your way into there right now, and I have a lot of thoughts. Daria in the chat has a lot of thoughts. Monica, if she'll join us, has thoughts as well. So I'm excited to tackle that topic. I think I want to leave the viewers wanting more. You know, like I want to stop now while we're at a high point. We've had an hour and a half long conversation, which is good. And I want to have another one-on-one with you, buddy. I like talking with you, and we have things that we can talk about. You know, your audio's cutting in and out. Yeah, you're Robo Kian. You're Robo
I
Kian.
love.
Okay, you're coming back. Now talk. Now you're
Okay.
good. Now you're good.
Thank you very much for having me. I love talking to you. I love having these
My
discussions.
pleasure.
After knowing you for 17, 18 years, it's
Yeah,
great that we've come to a point where we can have some cool discussions
I
about
know.
life and about our perspectives and opinions. So this has been really cool.
Of
Thank you for
course.
having me.
Oh yeah, my
Time.
pleasure. I can't wait to have you back. And Zara in the chat says such a tease. Absolutely, that's what we're trying to do. But hey guys, thank you everybody for tuning in. Zara for your contributions. It was very generous of you.
Woo!
Thank you. Sky, thank you in chat. Monica, Daria. I hate, what is it? My wife let me please come back. Jen earlier, Soul earlier. Thank you all for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you all enjoyed it. And hey, there will be more content to follow. I'll probably be streaming later today. I'll definitely be streaming tomorrow. So stay tuned for more content. And for the next podcast, probably next Wednesday at 10:30. Make yourselves available. You know it's going to be a good conversation, and it's always fun. So thanks for being on, Kian. It was a pleasure, and I hope to have you on again. And that'll be the end of the stream for now. Goodbye.